Hey guys, Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be talking about a few things. Now, if you watched my video where I talked about Broadway and theater, why Broadway and theater are so very important to me, why I haven't seen shows in a while, you'll know already that 2022 was an extremely difficult year for me personally to get through. And while this year isn't quite as bad as it was a year ago for me, it's not great still. It's okay. And I honestly, that's the best I can hope for in a way these days. But without theater used to be like my thing, like I said in my previous video. And it was that thing that helped me get through to the next day, you know, to help life seem less sad and hard and difficult and lonely and blah, 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 all that stuff. So without theater, I had to try to figure out things that maybe could be a replacement temporarily, hopefully, until I get my theater back, if you will. And so I've leaned on a few other things to help get me from one day to the next, because I don't have many friends, so it's not like I have people I can call and be like, hey, you want to hang out? Just like talk and like, you know, stuff like that. I don't really have that. So I've come to lean on other things. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about. What has helped get me through, basically, what helped me get through 2022 and what continues to help me get me through 2023 so far. So without any further ado, let's get on to what I'll be talking about today, if you will. So the first thing I'll be talking about is Bravo TV. I absolutely love Bravo TV. Now, I feel like when it comes to Bravo TV, you either really love it or you don't like it at all. Like in my house, I'm the only one that really loves it. Anytime I'm watching it, everyone's like, ugh, and they leave. But you know, whatever. There's other Bravo fans out there that, you know, I'm sure can appreciate Bravo such as I. And yeah, it's just like when it comes to television, a lot of the times I would watch like scripted shows because I obviously like storytelling. But you know what? There's something really wonderful about like reality TV in general. Especially for me, Bravo TV is my reality TV of choice. But there's something just wonderful about it. It's like simple but entertaining. It keeps your attention and takes your mind off life. And when I say it's simple, I mean that as a compliment. Sometimes you just don't want to think and you want to shut your brain off, but like, it's just like wonderful. I just love Bravo TV. I thank you, Andy Cohen, for your wonderful network. And I watch almost everything on Bravo. It's like usually the first thing I watch when I watch TV. And I just love it. I don't know why. I just love it. And I guess if I have to choose like my favorite shows on Bravo, that's difficult because they're all so wonderful. But if I had to choose, I really like currently, I guess if I had to choose my favorite Housewife franchise at the moment, I am going to say The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I just love it. I don't know why. I just love it. Anyway, and then I guess my next two favorites are Vanderpump Rules and Summer House. And believe it or not, I never fell behind. Mostly, when it's on Bravo, I usually don't fall behind on things. But in 2021, I fell behind on like every television show I ever watched. And I fell behind on Vanderpump Rules somehow. But one of my birthday presents last year was the NBC streaming service Peacock, and like if you love Bravo, that's a great streaming service to get because everything that Bravo has on is on Bravo is on Peacock. So I finally caught up with Vanderpump Rules, and I clearly caught up at a great time, a great unfortunate time, I guess, for the people in the show, but because you know a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to delve into that today because, you know, at the end of the day, everyone on the show is a real person, obviously, and, you know, it's just a disappointing situation, honestly. But, yeah, whatever, so, I love Bravo TV. That is something that helped me so much get through last year, continues to help get me through this year, and when I was, I have a blog if you don't know, the link to my blog will be in the description below. Bravo TV made my number 2 favorite show of 2022 of list of my favorite shows for last year. Obviously, Bravo TV is not a show in particular, but I love everything on it, so I just included the network as a show, if you will. That's how much I love it. So, yeah. If you haven't watched Bravo TV, it's a great channel. Just take your mind off of everything, and yeah. So, the next thing that helped get me through 2022 and continues to this year as well is BookTube. I really was someone who never really watched much YouTube before 2021 and 2022 and now, obviously. But I would mostly watch, like I said, scripted shows or reality television and stuff like that. And whenever I looked up stuff on YouTube, it would be like Broadway related things because I was always seeing Broadway shows and I was curious what the commercials looked like, and if they performed on TV or something. I wanted to see like what the performance looked like, what the show would look like, so I would get if I could see if it would be something I would want to see and all that jazz. So I don't look up Broadway stuff anymore. It's kind of like, if you watch that video where I talked about Broadway, Broadway's just a painful topic for me to talk about and think about, and I don't feel that joy that I used to feel when I think of Broadway anymore. If you watch that video, you'll know why. I'm not gonna talk more about it today because I don't want to cry. But for some, I started getting to reading again. I would say I started probably around 2014, I think, because I remember Fun Home was coming to Broadway, and I knew it was based on a graphic novel, and I wanted to read the graphic novel before the show came to Broadway. And so that was really the first book that got, I wouldn't say got me into reading again, but where I started reading again. And then from there, I started reading like more books that I heard were going to be adapted. And yeah, so I would read maybe a few books a year. Nothing, like maybe like 5 books a year, which honestly for me, someone who doesn't read every day, that's quite a lot. But yeah, so I got into reading again like a little less than over, like not quite a decade ago, but close to that. And yeah, like I said, I used to, when I looked at YouTube, it would be Broadway theater related things, but I for some reason found myself wanting to look at people doing book reviews and stuff and saying what books are popular. I was trying to find, I guess, my new thing, because I was a theater nerd. Now I'm a theater nerd who doesn't see shows anymore, so I was trying to find my new thing, and I guess for some reason I gravitated towards books. When I was younger, I read a lot, like Babysitter Clubs and stuff, and book series like that, but like, when I got older, I kind of stopped reading because, you get busy, and then I started reading again a few years ago, like I said. But I don't know, I liked hearing people talk about books, and it made me forget about missing theater. And I found a lot of great BookTube channels, and I learned a lot about a lot of authors and books that sounded interesting to me that I honestly don't think I would have known about otherwise, or probably wouldn't have gave a second glance to at the bookstore, the books on the shelf, on my own, if I hadn't heard that, oh wow, this is a book to check out. So really grateful for BookTube, and like books like this, Before We Were Strangers, I think Steph Bomer mentioned that this was a great book, so I was like, I'll pick this up. And then I forget, a lot of people said, like, this was like, I think on several people mentioned Abby Jimenez, that she wrote A Part of Your World. I actually have that, but I don't have it. It's somewhere in my room. But I when I heard that book was good, and I heard this is like a somewhat of a sequel, I'm like, I was like, I'll pick this up. Another author, honestly, I probably wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for BookTube. And then my current book read was a book that I had seen at the Barnes & Noble like several times when I would go there, but I didn't really care for the cover, honestly. But so I kind of just was like, whatever. But then I kept hearing people talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and saying how great it was. So it's a book called The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. And basically everybody's talked about this book. I know Sarah Caroli really liked it. And, yeah, a lot of, I think Gabby Reed's also read it and liked it, I believe. Um, yeah, really books, and I actually am. I think I'm up on page 156 currently of this book. On this is my current book read. Believe it or not, I actually stuck a little bit to my TBR, which is very rare. Maybe I'm not a movie reader anymore. I have too many books that like it's actually great to have a TBR because sometimes I can't choose otherwise now. But yeah, people weren't kidding. This book is good. It's really good. I'll talk more about it probably in a wrap up at some point when I finish reading it. But I get what the hype is about. I get what the hype is about. But yeah, I really came to like count on like BookTube to like take my mind away from missing theater and stuff, and I discovered a lot of great BookTube channels. Gabby Reed's is probably one of my favorites just because the way she talks about books, like the excitement she has for books, the passion she has for books, it's like it reminds me of myself when I used to see theater all the time. That joy that you feel from like finding like your thing in life, and I like I just love that. I love like how much she loves books because like I used to feel like the same way but about theater. So maybe watching these channels, it makes you like really excited to read the books they're talking about, even the books that like they don't care for, like it just makes you excited about reading again. And reading and books aren't quite, I love them. I'm not quite as passionate about them as I am about theater, but give it a few more years, if I still haven't seen any shows, I probably will be that passionate and excited about books like everyone on BookTube is. But I do love books, and I thank you all for your videos and for helping take my mind off of missing theater and like sadness and life stuff and all that jazz. I keep saying that, but all that jazz is from Chicago. I don't know, I'm a theater nerd. Theater is always on my mind, even if I'm not seeing it. But and the last thing that I'm thankful for that got me through last year, gets me through this year because I go so often, is book shopping, Barnes and Noble. Yeah, I haven't done any kind of book hauls or anything, although I definitely accumulate a lot of books probably throughout a month that I could have a pretty great big kind of book haul. But I don't know, book hauls, I don't know. I think sometimes I buy an embarrassingly amount of books throughout a week or two. So I honestly wasn't sure initially why I kept going to the bookstore so often last year and this year. And then like I like to say I was a turtle in a former life, meaning I'm a bit slow to get there sometimes. It takes me a while, but sometimes eventually I'll realize things, it just takes me a minute because I'm always late for things, hence turtle, slow. But anyway, so I was trying to figure out like why am I going to the bookstore so much? And I think it came to me a few months ago that I really, like I said, miss theater. This is gonna be like an ongoing theme for today's video, apparently. I'm so sorry about that because I already talked about Broadway and theater in another video, but here we are. Yeah, and like there used to be like this, well, I'm sure it's still there. There's this like Broadway shop, I believe, next to the St. James, or it's on that street. I think that's 44th Street in the Times Square area. There's like a Broadway shop, and I would always go there, and the same like one guy works there, and like they'd be like hello, and they like they remember you, and like you have like a conversation about like, oh, have you seen any shows, or just like going to the theater and just having that experience, or like going to like the same place you would go to eat all the time, because I always would go to the same place to eat because I'm not an adventurous eater. So yeah, I just miss that place, those places I can go to where I feel like a regular or something. I don't know if that makes sense, but I miss having a place to go to that I really enjoyed. And so, well, I'm really, because of 2020, I didn't go anywhere in 2020 like most people, and I didn't go anywhere until basically almost summer of 2021. Like that's how long I didn't do anything. So I think I'm almost like making up for lost time going to the bookstore so often these days. But also I did get rid of a lot of books in 2020 and 2021, so I had room on my shelves. I have since filled up those shelves, and I still keep buying books, but you know, whatever. It's like, it's getting me to the next day. And people don't understand, like, you know, I don't really have a lot of friends to ask to do things with, so obviously I would rather like hang out with friends, have like a game night or something, and or just like, you know, go for a walk or something, or just like talk on the phone. I don't really have that, so like if I feel like I want to go out and I can go out and all that, I just usually, that's the only place I end up like wanting to go these days is the bookstore, and I bought a lot of books, but you know, whatever. Eventually, you know, whatever the case may be, I am having a better reading year than I've had in quite some time. For buying as many books as I have been within the last year, I don't read. I haven't read everything, but you know, I don't read fast. I don't read every day, but I still am having a better reading year than I normally have. Like, I'm already on my 4th book of the year, which I run it. My goal in a way was to read 1 book every month, so I am there. So pat myself on the back. You know, do not pat myself on the back for buying books as a coping mechanism for missing the theater and Broadway. But, you know, every time I watch someone talk about a book on BookTube or something, they just have to mention it. And I'm like, sold. I want to get it now. You know, I'm easily sold on books. But, yeah, that's today's video. And, yeah, that's today's video. It's probably, I rambled too much, but hopefully if you're looking for some stuff to help get you through a hard time, maybe check out Bravo TV, BookTube, or go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book. I mean, I don't know. That's what's been getting me through the hard times, the hard days, and yeah. So that's gonna be it for today's video. And before I go, let me know in the comments what's your favorite show on Bravo TV, or what's your favorite BookTube channel. Maybe, like, I've watched a few, but I'm not. There's so many that maybe you could help me discover a new one. And also, what book are you hoping to buy at the bookstore in the future? You know, or what did you just buy recently? What books have you just bought in recently? Yeah. That's gonna be it, like I said, for today's video, and thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye.